Global Brew here for our men's SIUE basketball coaches show. This is the Cougars head men's basketball coach, Brian Baroni. I'm Joe Pott. Thanks again to Global Brew. Thanks again to Urban Chestnut Brewing Company, our presenting sponsor. We're glad to have you back out, Coach. Coming off a really nice win on Saturday afternoon against Tennessee Tech. The week off in between, and I know it was probably longer because of the result from the previous Saturday, a tough loss at Southeast Missouri State. I imagine your guys were probably chomping to get back on the court after that one.
Yeah, they were. They approached the week the right way. You know, there's a level of frustration when we don't do what we know we're capable of doing. You know, there's a lot of positives from a defensive aspect at the previous week with SEMO. We just didn't, you know, it starts with me. I could have done a much better job from an offensive standpoint. These guys work their tails off every single day, and they're very capable at being really, really good. So, you know, I love the fact that they bounced back right away on that Monday. We worked on some individual improvement. Not a full practice, and then we just locked into Tennessee Tech the rest of the week, and they came out and executed the game plan that they give us every day. So it was fun to see.
I'm going to touch on something in a second, but so in that game particularly, a great start. You get off to a super quick start. You know, you're up 10-2, 12-2, whatever it was. Shoot near 60% in that first half, up 26 at halftime. How does that change how you manage the second half when you're up that big going into the break?
You know, we talked about it at halftime. I told the guys, I said, you know, I'm not going to do the coach's cliche, it's 0-0. We're up 26. All right, we are. And you guys are playing well. We had 12 assists at halftime. We had, might have had seven turnovers at halftime. But we were sharing the ball. We were running. We were guarding. You just said, hey, here's if the team that we want to be, we have to go out there and do it again. Yep. All right, it's about doing what we need to do. So that was kind of our approach. They came out right away. We knew they were going to come out in transition. They jumped on us pretty quick, and then right away I think Dez had a steal to a dunk to kind of, they might have had it to 19, and we went back up 21 or 23, and then they went out there, our guys went out there and approached it the rest of the half the right way, and then I start calling, then I get involved again. I start screwing everything up, and then I started, we did a little bit more of a continuity offense that takes a little time off the clock, but we have aggressive guys. You know, we have, you know, Rayshon Taylor, Polo Minor, Shamar Lamar, those guys are aggressive. Dez, you know, that's what we're best at.
Coach Waddle just wanted to play four corners.
Oh, man, you know what? He wants to do more offense. He gets a bad rep. He always is wanting to talk offense.
That's the first thing he told me when he came to Edwards. He goes, I can't play four corners in a college game. So
the shot clock's killing us.
Let me go back to something you said, and you've said it to me a lot, is that when you're game planning, when you're preparing, you're putting together the plan that the guys have let you know, the guys have told you. What do you mean when you're saying that? That they have told you what they want?
You know, sometimes it's actual, hey, I want to do this, and then sometimes it's just they're telling us through their actions. Like, this is what we're best at. I thought a few weeks ago on some certain dribble handoff coverage, we guarded it a particular way through scouting, and it made sense to all of us as a coaching staff and the players as well, but we were better at doing something differently. So we have since adjusted how we've guarded a certain coverage because of what our guys have essentially told us through their words or through their actions. And you have to be able to trust your team. I know sometimes it feels, I'm sure there's times where they feel like, man, you need to trust me more, but I really do trust these guys. Like, I believe in what they can do so well when they're not doing it to what I've seen them do. Mm-hmm. You know, it's part of coaching, but you also have to be able to sit back. You know, they go on a 5-6, 8-0 run, whatever the case may be. You got to sit back and let them continue. I think Polo said it in one of the timeouts. It was a 25-point game. We're good. You know, 17 points towards the end of the game, and there is a value of that. That's not a. He's not saying, hey, what's the big deal? We just lost an 8-point. He's not saying that. He's like, hey, we're up 26. We put ourselves in position to hit a little bit of a lull, and we're still up 17. That, to me, that level of leadership and maturity in that particular timeout during the game was pretty cool to see.
And we'll visit with Polo Minor coming up here in our second segment. A couple more for Coach Baroni as we move into the real heart of the schedule, obviously, and we'll talk about this upcoming week when we come back after visiting with DeMarco. But when you look at a game like Tennessee Tech now, and you're evaluating that. How much stock can you put in that? They were down a bunch of guys. Obviously, as you said, you got up big, did all the things you needed to do. Is that something you want to take? Yes, there's some of the good things, but also you can't get too high, right? That's kind of where I was going there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we watched this morning. We talk about improvements. They probably thought that we lost the game the first 10 minutes of film, 15 minutes of film. But you want to talk about improvements, and then right after it, you saw the improvements that we actually made that we were doing in the game. It's like, hey, let's stay away from this. Let's continue to focus on this. And, we were down 2 pretty big guys, too. And I think, with Terrence Thompson and Arnie Sakinas.
And you can address, that was going to be my next question, is the health of those 2 guys.
It's conference, and that's that's where we are right now in conference, where everyone's getting beat up a little bit. Polo's had his hand wrapped since Dayton, I feel like, or South Alabama. Obviously, Ray Sean's been a warrior with a lot of things. So I think, you definitely have to. I come in there and I told them, Matt Painter said something I saw online the other day, just talking about how hard it is just to win. It's just hard to win, and I wanted our guys to understand or hear me at the end of the day after that game. Hey, it's hard to win. We just won, and we won pretty handily. So heck yeah, we're gonna let's be excited about it. Now we have to focus on why we didn't have the success down at Little Rock, and why we've had success when we have won. And if we can execute what we're able to do, I think we can have a chance of having a good game on Thursday.
I'll ask you. I was asking asking Coach Sam about having the alumni in the building and having that presence. Had one of the largest crowds of the year in First Community Arena, almost 2,200 fans on the Saturday. What was that energy like?
It was great. I mean, Coach Sam has a great program. She's got great energy. She knows what she's doing. They're bought in, all that kind of stuff. So now there's an excitement to be able to support that team. And then I believe in our guys as well. So the alumni are able to come back and support our team. So when you have 2 really quality culture programs in the arena on alumni weekend, when they come back and they're able to say to their kids, I had a few guys, there was a class of 2009, and I was ruining his shirt when I signed it, and he was just saying how much he appreciated being able to come back and see what he saw, and he's been to 3 or 4 games this year, and he's going to continue to come back. And he had his son. Like I did, like my wife and I, we both went to Marquette, and a few years ago we were proud of walking around Marquette. It's like, hey, this is where mom first ignored dad. This is where mom kept on turning down dad when he was trying to take her on a date. All right, so we were so proud of where we were, where we have come from, and it's so cool to see that pride and all the people that were back in SIUE, and then to engage 2 really quality programs. They were proud of it, and that was pretty cool to see.
Coach, as always, we appreciate the time. We'll have you back. We'll look ahead to next week coming up. We'll have DeMarco Minor coming up in our second segment here at Global Brew. We've got the junior guard, DeMarco Minor, with us here. We're back at Global Brew for our SIUE basketball coaches show. DeMarco, thanks for coming on, man.
Appreciate it.
I'm going to scoot that just a little bit for you. So the nickname is Polo. That's what everybody hears, Polo Minor. Give me an idea where it comes from. I mean, I understand where it comes from. So
yeah, I mean, I think in like 2000, I don't know, like 8, 9, Bow Wow came out with the Marco Polo song. And then ever since then, people just started calling me Polo. And when I was a baby, I used to have like a lot of Polo onesies. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So it makes sense when you hear DeMarco Polo, but then when everybody says Polo Minor, I think that's where people might get confused a little bit.
Yeah, some people just think Polo my real name. So sometimes I go with it. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't know, I'd rather be called Polo though anyway.
So you are a Chicago guy. You were at a junior college in Chicago, South Suburban, where DeMarco was the National Junior College Player of the Year. What gets you to SIUE?
I'm a big guy on loyalty. They was the first ones to pull the trigger, and I ain't really care what came after that. I feel like even if Duke came after that, I was gonna come here just off loyalty and who was gonna take the risk first. So that's pretty much why I'm here for real.
And then as you got into the program, got to know Coach Baroni and the coaching staff, how much did that just kind of cement your decision to be here in Edwardsville?
Like I said, like I said, I'm big on loyalty, and when I came here, I felt like family. So it basically fit into all my morals that I got for real. Like, we're a big family. We don't let each other down no matter what's going on. We try to move on and look at a different aspect. So I feel like that's really what I'm about.
That's something that Coach Baroni has always said, always talked about putting family into basketball. And I know I hear coaches say it a lot, but I don't know if coaches practice it as at least what I see with Coach Baroni. It's a big deal.
Nah, for sure. He definitely makes sure we understand we more than a basketball team. We family first, because I feel like if you go out there playing like a basketball team, you're not going to be as successful. But if you playing like you're playing with your brothers, then I feel like you're going to have more success.
Man, I need to get that. That's a good quote to go on a poster right there. Coach is talking about Matt Painter, but we have DeMarco Minor here. Was there a tough transition basketball-wise between the junior college level and NCAA Division I?
Yeah. The reason I would say is because I'm playing on alongside with Rayshawn Taylor and Shamar and S.A. and those guys where I don't gotta do it all, you know. One day it could be my night, next night it could be their night. Like, they can go for 30 or 25. It was just me finding my role. All right, learning, all right, what type of game is going to be in the first 5 minutes? Okay, it's going to be a game where I got to score, or it's going to be a game where I got to get rebounds and assists, or is it going to be a game where I just got to be vocal? Like, I'm still learning that. So I feel like that's probably the hardest thing for me, but I'm starting to understand it now.
I mean, it has been like that all year long, though, that as a game starts, you don't know necessarily who at the end of the night is going to be the one that maybe stood out or that maybe kind of took the lead, but it is oftentimes a different guy on your team.
Yeah, but that goes along with coach telling us move the ball, because we got players. Like, if you put them in the right spot and knowing your personnel who like to be in what spot on the floor, they can go for no matter what, how many points they want to, 20, 30, just depending on you getting them in the open spots, hitting them when they open.
Let me ask you specifically about the Morehead State game here, January 13th game, because that you just said it takes about 5-6 minutes into the game when you know how it's going to be. 5-6 minutes into that game, I think you might have had 15 points. It felt like that anyway. That was a huge game for you, and specifically a spot that I know you like, that 15-foot, that mid-range. That's really your game, isn't it?
Yeah, I try to get that because a lot of people don't guard that. They just want to be Steph Curry, or they want to go get dunks. So I try to like find my way, you know. But I mean, yeah, in the beginning of the game, it felt good coming off my hands, and my teammates was like, just keep going, you know. So they like, all right, you got it going, and kept giving it to me. So I was just like, all right, let's do it.
There are another big part of your game is the free throw line. You've excelled at the free throw line since you've been here at SIUE. Right now, percentage points back of the leader. You're second in the Ohio Valley Conference in in free throw percentage. Where does that come from?
I really shoot free throws after every workout. I mean, I make 25 in a row after every workout. So, I mean, I guess the work paying off. But I feel like I should get to the line more. I feel like I'm bailing out a lot of teams by not putting pressure on they bigs coming off a ball screen. So I feel like I got to get to the free throw line more.
I'll ask you this, too, because it seems like there are teams you know, that you get there more often, and maybe it's just games, but even as I look back, Southern Indiana comes to mind. You had 10 against them this year. You had your 15 for 15 game against them last year. I think you had double digits in the OVC tournament against them. Why are there some teams that you seem to get to the line more often against?
I don't know. I would say some of the refs like me. I don't know.
So it's that team. It's the team of three, and not the opponents, maybe.
Yeah.
That's interesting. If you didn't know, DeMarco set the Ohio Valley Conference record for consecutive free throws last year. It was a record that had stood for 40-something years before DeMarco Minor passed it. Absolutely. So much success last year and so many firsts for this program. When you get into this year, how do you approach that? How do you take your step into this year after so much success last year?
Going back to the basics. We see what we could do. Now let's focus on the tiny things. Like I tell myself every day, let's win today. If we win every day, we're going to win every game. So that means win today, win, going to practice, going to class. Let's win today. Then tomorrow, going to bring a new agenda. Let's win tomorrow, but I'm focused on today. I feel like as long as we focus day by day, we're going to get to where we got to go. If we start looking too ahead, like last year we did this, it's not last year no more. So long as we have a different approach this year, we're going to get new results.
How important would it be for this team to get that single or obviously the double bye in the OVC tournament?
I mean, like I said, I don't really care for real. I'm just trying to win day by day. I don't care if we get no bye, we got to play 4 games, 5 games. I know the ending goal. And I know people, they don't want to play us. No matter what the message is out there, whatever the case may be, they don't want to play us. So as long as we come to play and listen to the X and O's, focus on scout, we're going to win the game.
I asked Sophie this question. Do you have a favorite gym you've played in since your time here at SIUE? There's obviously gyms that have better shooting backgrounds, right?
I don't necessarily care about the rims. I care about like the atmosphere. Like I'm from Chicago, so like talking mess like on the sideline.
Sure.
I like those type of atmosphere. So if anything, I'd probably say like SEMO.
SEMO.
Yeah.
That's funny because that's one of the things that she said was one of her favorite gyms.
Yeah.
Best OVC city that you've been to.
City.
City, yeah. So maybe the gym, maybe the atmosphere, but just anywhere we've been.
Atmosphere. Nashville.
Yeah, same answers. That's good. That's what Sophie said too. Well, Polo, I appreciate you coming out. I appreciate you taking some time. It's a pleasure to be able to watch you do your thing, and I look forward to a great finish to the year, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
There you go, DeMarco Minor with us here. We'll have one more segment coming up with the Cougars head coach after this.
Immerse yourself in academic excellence. Take comfort in welcome surroundings. Revel in exhilarating events. Discover invaluable educational experiences at a value rivaled by few. Southern Illinois University Edwardsville. The right place, the right people, so you can own tomorrow. Take your first steps to a promising future at SIUE.
Final segment of our SIUE basketball coaches show here at Global Brew. As always, thanks to Global Brew, they have specials going on. So when you come out here on Monday nights to see us from 5 to 7, lots of specials going on here at Global Brew, and of course a great spot to be at any time. And thanks so much to Urban Chestnut Brewing Company for being our presenting sponsor and helping us do this and put on this show. Coach Brian Baroni is back with us here as you get into a big week here at home, and whether or not you pay attention to the standings, or let me put it this way, whether you say you pay attention to the standings or not, I know that you pay attention to the standings, and the rest of us always do. So this week coming up, you've got 2 teams coming in here tied with SIUE at 5-3, just a couple of games off the top of the league. This really has the feeling of a huge conference weekend coming up.
Yeah, it's a big week, having two home games this week against Little Rock and Martin. You only see Martin once this year as well. No, we talked about it today as a program. We just said it. It's one game at a time. We're not going to focus on, but we all know we have 2 games this week.
Sure.
And we explained it to the guys. Look, this puts us in a position. Little Rock has one up on us right now. We go 1-1 against them. That you never know how that filters out at the end of the year. And then if you can get one against Martin, you'll always be up 1-0.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different with the way the schedule is. We have 11 teams this year and use the 10-team schedule to do it. That's why at the end of the season it'll be a little unique for us. But I think that those are the type of things we talk about with our team, and because I think we have a group of guys that get it, the group of guys that it fuels their fire a little bit, and we know this is a big week.
I would say the game at Little Rock was not indicative of what your team can do. That was one good half, to be really honest. The second half was a much better half. You scored 50 points. I think you shot better than 50% in that second half. How much do you want to show Little Rock what you can be? I mean, if that's...
Yeah, no, it's a great question. No, we talked about it. They didn't see the best version of ourselves.
Right.
And
you said it much better than I did.
Yeah, every once in a while I'm full of it sometimes, and I've had to say that before. But I think that, that's one of the things that, but more importantly, they did see what we were capable of when it didn't go the way that we needed to play. So I'm sure they're hanging their hat on that. Let's get them back to doing that is what they're thinking. thinking, and we have to show our guys. We watched some film today, talked about basically the keys of what we're going to need to do to have some success. We really didn't guard great down there. Gave up 88 points. I think the last 4 games we've held opponents under 60 points. The last 4 games here. There was a part in the game right there that the transition defense was ineffective for us down there, and we've done some things as a team to really focus on trying to improve that area. For example, after the Little Rock game, and I think we're better for it. You like always being better after a win, but we're ready to roll this Thursday.
You mentioned the defense, and I'm glad you did, because I think it's probably one of the best defensive teams in the Division I area here. I think it's 15 times now that you've held opponents under 70, and we're talking about that includes on the road at Dayton, on the road at Missouri, and it's not just the mid-major programs, if you will. That includes, when you played at South Alabama and Denver came in there flying high and you held them down. Nicholls, the same kind of situation. This defense is legit, and it's been that way all year.
Well, it's these guys. I mean, I think Denver might have the leading scorer in the country. They're having a great year. Green Bay is having a very good year, and those are 2 teams that were quality opponent wins for us early in the non-conference. And I think that it's a group of guys that have been around one another. They believe in one another. They've played with one another. So through some mistakes, and I'm nitpicky. Like I'm like, hey, every time I can blow the whistle and I can say something, I probably say stuff too much at times. The reality of it is that through a mistake, we often have a guy that can make up for their partner's mistake to make a heck of a play because of that mistake sometimes. And it goes back to trusting them and in them trusting each other. And I think that's a little bit why our defense has been effective as of late.
On Saturday against Tennessee Tech, I didn't mention this in the first segment, but I should have. The Twins go for double-doubles together. That's the first time in their career they have done that together. That's kind of a cool moment.
Yeah, yes, that is, and they were aware.
I'm sure they were.
I'm sure that yes, for sure, and they're
I can't imagine what would have happened if you would have taken one of them out with 9 rebounds when the other one had the double-double.
Okay, well, we're all family here, so I'll tell the truth. All right. I did take one of them out with 9, not realizing that he had 9, and they pulled the twin thing on me. The other one came out at the end of the game.
Wow! And I didn't recognize that either.
So I looked at the bench and I was like, I thought I said Shamar. And in a game like that, with 5 years of credibility under their belt with me, I chose to accept that was okay. I would not suggest that typically that video board sometimes is a little bit of a problem up there when they're wearing. When you're up big, which is nice, they were aware.
They could see.
But it was cool because they did say that morning their grandpa had talked to them, and he said he had averaged 20 rebounds a game overseas, and they need to go get 20, or said something like that in the post-game press conference. And for the 2 of them to do that, and these guys really pull for one another. They're aware of each other.
Yep.
Polo, Ray, Terrence, Des Polk's been doing some really good things for us. So they're aware. They like having those numbers for success, because it is, it's a team game, but it's nice to go do some good things like that. It's pretty cool.
When I was talking to DeMarco just now, he was saying the same thing, that it's not as he said, he could tell in the first few minutes of a game, right? Who's going to have kind of the hot hand. Saturday specifically, at least at the outset, it was Ray. We've seen plenty of nights where it's been Shamar, it's been Polo, it's been somebody else. That's a dangerous team when you're going against a team like that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have a luxury of being those guys' coach.
Yep.
And in Polo's growth in terms of how he runs a team and in the ball movement and his ability to see the weak side, his ability to impact it defensively, and his ability to go get a basket as well. And for him to have that observation, I know that he says he's still learning, and we all are still learning. But his ability to run the show when guys and identify that. I think the other day, it might have been even in practice, he was getting Shamar going a little bit. He started calling all the plays that we have for Shamar. He just did that on his own. So I think, again, they see when someone might be struggling and they need to go touch the ball a little bit. They want to feel it a little bit, and they see when guys are hot and they want to keep it going. So it's pretty cool that they're willing to give of themselves.
What would you like to say if you're inviting these folks out to Thursday and Saturday for the big weekends coming up here at First Community Arena?
Yeah, just keep on bringing a friend.
Right.
All right. Now, just as cliche as that is, bring a buddy. Be loud. Stand up. Feel free to yell at all the people that don't dress like us in a respectful way. But I think that we feel the crowd.
Right.
You feel the atmosphere. You feel, you see Eddyville up there even after the game. People are up there. I feel like people were coming after the game, like, hey, come up to Eddyville, and you see that there's people that are engaging. The student section has been growing. The people who've been there from day one are still there from day one, and they're bringing people, and it's really we appreciate it. And it really means a lot. I know that's the right thing to say, but when you're going up there and I can look up and give my wife a wink or blow her a kiss or like we do before the games, and I kind of look around to make sure she's not just in clear vision because there's people there. That's pretty cool, and we're very lucky for that.
I'll tell you, just to relay a quick story. My nephew was at his first game. He's 6 years old, and after the game, all he wanted was high fives. But after the game, him and his friend Ethan Yancey and Lamar Wright both signed their poster, and I'm telling you that was the highlight of their day. So.
We have a guy like Polo has a handshake with fans.
That's awesome.
Like with people that I saw in one of the I'm walking through my kid's grade school, and there's a bunch of SIUE stuff that are like they're making some picture on for their locker, and you see SIUE basketball, and then you see a video after the game of Polo doing a handshake with a couple younger kids, like fifth graders. Like, where do you get that?
Right.
That's Polo Minor, that's Rayshawn Taylor, Lamar and Shamar Wright, Terrence Thompson. That's what those guys are. They have an engagement with people, and that's why you come out and support, because I feel like I'm fortunate enough to have the right kind of guys that you can go out there and support. And they're pretty good. They make me a better coach. There's no doubt about that.
Well, Coach, we always appreciate it. Thanks for coming out here again for another edition of our Coaches Show, and we look forward to this weekend. Doubleheaders this weekend. Thursday is 5 and 7:30. Saturday is 1 and 3:30. Thanks as always, Coach.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it.
That's Brian Baroni. That's this edition of our SIUE Basketball Coaches Show here at Global Brew, presented by Urban Chestnut Brewing Company. Thanks, everyone.